Welcome to the Texas School Safety Center's Learning Lab. I'm your host, Kathleen Bates. In 2025, the Youth of Uvalde student group received a School Safety Spotlight Award from the Texas School Safety Center for the development of a lockdown bucket, which they call Coyote Kits. The lockdown bucket was initiated by Uvalde High School students after the tragedy at Robb Elementary. But the Coyote Kit didn't come from a place of fear. It came from immense resiliency, creativity, and a strong desire to protect and support others. Their mission was to include a lockdown bucket in every classroom, which standardizes the response to lockdown situations, ensuring that all students and staff are equipped with essential supplies and a clear protocol to follow. Their project raised awareness about school safety, encouraged ongoing dialogue about emergency procedures, and helped to demystify safety protocols and really empowered students and staff to take an active role in their own safety. For most of us, we will never be able to imagine the multitude of challenges and emotions the students and school staff experienced that day. But as you listen to this episode and you hear the stories our guests share, you can start to get a sense of it all. By the end of the episode, I believe that you will also see the importance of having some type of lockdown bucket so that all students and teachers can feel a sense of empowerment in their own safety the next time a campus goes into lockdown. I'm so grateful to the Youth of Uvalde student group for sharing their time, their ideas, and their voices with me today. And I really hope that you find our conversation insightful. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to learn more about Youth of Uvalde and the Coyote Kit and all of the things, y'all's opinions really on how you engage students in school safety and just how the past few years have been for the community of Uvalde. But I think before we get into that, we should do some introductions. So I would love if we could go around and introduce yourself, share a little bit about yourself, what grade you're in, why you joined the Y.O.U student group, and what you're doing a part of the Y.O.U student group.
Okay, so my name is Summer Kanapi. I am in 12th grade. I'm a senior, almost out. I joined her class originally because my friend Zaina recommended it to me. She said it was her favorite thing ever. She learned so much. And I think being in this class has really taught me to use my voice. I've really broken out of my shell. When I first got to high school, I was super duper shy. And then I joined the Criminal Justice Club as soon as I could. I've been the president for the last 2 years. And being a part of Y.O.U is really important to me because I don't see often that students are actively trying to make a change for themselves, and I want to be a part of something like that.
I'm Joseph Pineda. I'm a senior at Uvalde High School. Also, I really only joined this program because her husband pushed me. He would come to my house every day. He's like, I need you to join her class. I need you to be with her. I need you to be a part of it. And I ended up liking it. I was more open. I started talking to everybody. It made me be a different person. So, yeah.
And you're both seniors?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Exciting time of life for you.
Yes, definitely. My name is Norma Barbosa, and I am the law enforcement teacher at Uvalde High School. I have been teaching for 9 years, and it has been a great experience. And I just love being a part of them. Something interesting about me is that I love being a grandma. That's my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I love it. Besides teaching them. It's my favorite thing. So.
That's awesome. What does the Youth of Uvalde student group focus on? What do y'all do? Do you do stuff in the school and community or just the school?
So Youth of Uvalde was originally founded a couple years ago at a camp where we were trying to come up with a project that could help our community. And we landed on our Coyote Kits, obviously, and that's really what we've been trying to push out the last couple of years. There have been a few instances where we've gone out and done other things, but really we're just trying to make a difference and bring back some sort of sense of security in our school.
Ever since Robb Elementary, correct?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, she answered that great.
And the student group is a part of your criminal justice class.
Yes.
and criminal justice clubs.
Club.
We have a club,
Club.
that we have meetings. Sometimes we call this period called advisory. We go there. It's like 30 minutes, but we talk about it and we do different things. So
Yeah, so it's like 3 separate groups almost. There's a bunch of students in the 4 classes, and then a select few of those people in the class join the club, and then there's only a couple of us out of the club that formed Y.O.U. So Y.O.U is our smallest branch of the criminal justice program.
It's just one of those situations where some students took to something and they just ran with it. And now we've just kind of built it up a little bit. They're not everyone in the criminal justice program or in the law enforcement field in our pathway is involved in Y.O.U, but they all know about them, though. They do know
and
that
everyone
they exist.
helps. Everyone contributes
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah. What does that look like? What does contributing look like?
Well, I have a couple friends who aren't in the club but have been in the classes for the past few years, whether it's because they are interested in law enforcement or they just got put there by the counselors. But they, throughout the process of creating our Coyote Kit, have gone very invested. They've helped us kind of design our list of items that we put in, and they've helped us set due dates, help us write papers for grants, just anything you could really think of.
That's wonderful.
yeah, my friend Jordan, he was one that pushed us to get it done by October.
Yeah.
He said, no, not December, October. We want to get this done now. Why wait later?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I agree. It's such a great resource. Why
Yeah.
wait later? Try to get it done as soon as possible. Lots of hurdles and challenges, and we'll definitely get into more of that later in the conversation. But I think that I'd like to start, if it's okay with you all, with just kind of reflecting on the last few years. A lot has happened. Also, the new elementary school, Legacy Elementary, opened not that long ago in October. And it's beautiful. I went online and looked at everything, and the art installation, that tree is gorgeous.
I know, it's amazing.
All the colors. It's a very happy, vibrant looking school. So I imagine there's a lot of kind of bittersweet feelings and moments with that. And so if it's okay, I just kind of want to talk about that for a little bit with you all. What does it feel like for you to reflect on your community's journey since the tragedy at Robb Elementary?
I think, me personally, stepping into Legacy, I was just filled with so much hope. Like, we as a community have grown so much, and we continue to grow, and we try our very best to honor what's happened in the past, but it's nice to see how resilient everyone's been.
Yeah, I think stepping into the new school, I feel like it gave the kids a sense of security. Like, the school is really nice. They made everything like to try to make them feel at home. Like,
Yeah.
they have like the new recess is like their like playground is huge. Just like,
We're jealous.
I saw the pictures.
yeah,
It looks
it's
very
huge.
fun.
And then like they have their own gym, and they have like their own auditorium. Like, they try to make them like have like a nice where to be, like nice place to
the
be.
courtyard is
The courtyard is very nice. They added like where you can sit down and like have lunch there too. So
That is very nice. Yeah. I know Uvalde is a very small, tight-knit community. So I imagine there were a lot of people and impacted by the opening of the elementary. Again, those bittersweet moments. I saw that the junior high, the mariachi band from the junior high got to perform, and they were also students at Robb Elementary at that time. So I don't know I know you are well connected. I don't know if you all have heard from community members or your own parents or siblings, anything about just how that process has been and what that has felt like for the community overall.
I think everybody's excited in having a new school and all the excitement that goes with a new school. But I also think that with the elementary is a memorial too. And walking in, there is a sense that we will never forget of, what we've gone through. But like Summer said, there is a sense of hope. The fact that students can come to school every day is what helps us as teachers to walk into a class every day. The fact that the kids still show up for school, that students are coming into a brand new school, that just shows how resilient our community is. and how powerful it is when we do come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of how we've all come together to help each other, regardless of how close we are or how many people we've lost. It's heartwarming to see everyone. I mean, no one really knows what to expect with these sort of things, and no one knows the correct way to heal, but it's nice to see everyone growing and trying together.
Yeah. So thank you for taking a few minutes to reflect on the past few years. I know that's not easy. That's difficult to do. And so I appreciate you being willing to open yourself up to that conversation. So I kind of want to spend some time talking about your perspectives on school safety as young people. For a while now, a lot of adults in the school setting have they've known, but they are very ready to start engaging young people in school safety. And young people are ready to be engaged in school safety. You have your own thoughts and opinions, and you see things and you hear things from your peers. You know what's going on. You know where there might be some security issues, whether that be a physical security or an emotional security. You're very aware because school is like a second home for you. You are there 8 hours of the day. You know what you need to feel safe and secure. So I think it's important that we get the youth perspective on how we go about instilling this culture of feeling safe and secure at school. So when you hear the phrase school safety, I'm curious, what comes to mind for you and your peers? Like, what pops in your head if you talk about school safety with your friends, or even as you reflect yourself? What does that look like to you?
I think school safety is making sure you have a secure environment, like making sure nobody could get in or out without any permission, like going through like the admin or anybody like above in general. That's how I think school safety is. So.
Yeah, and on the emotional side, I think school safety could also be related to having people around you that you can trust and you can fall back on in any sort of situation.
I think it's important that this whole process, to listen to what they have to say, just in general, everyday things. We have gates, and how do they feel about those gates? Do they feel more secure? Putting up a gate doesn't mean that something's not going to happen, but are they ready for it? Are they prepared for whatever can happen? They touched on it a little bit, is that it's not something that somebody can tell you about. They have all these books, and, when you go to college, you do ABC. And when you, get married, you do ABC. And there is no book that tells you how to deal when your safety is taken from you. And listening to them and saying, hey, what do y'all want? What do you, everyday little things, just little things. And somebody's stressed out. Hey, what can we do for you if you're feeling a little stressed out? What can we do for you if you're not feeling safe? During drills, What do you do during a drill? And you see somebody that's having a hard time, sitting still in a lockdown drill. What do I need to do for you to help you? And just listening to them has to be the number one thing for us as teachers, is just listen to what they have to say, because they can teach you a lot. Yeah. They're pretty smart.
Okay. If you could redesign how schools think about safety, what's one thing that you would change?
Like anything, like redesign?
Anything.
The doors.
What about the doors?
I would want to put something on the inside where you just hatch it down and you just can't open it at all.
Our doors open out.
Yeah. So
just the design. I mean, our school was built I think in the 1980s. Nobody was thinking about mass shootings in the 1980s. And so our doors are designed to open out. And so that's always been a contention of ours, that we're just like, what do we need to do whenever we're talking about safety and security, and just that simple thing as those doors.
Yeah. Well, mine is a little bit less physical, but I think schools need to stress more the root of why our issues are occurring. I think a lot of the times, we always think that when these bad things happen, it's because of people outside of our school coming in and they're bad and they're not from here. But majority of the time, it's people that you've shared class with or that you've seen in the hallways. And I think if we did a little bit better of a job of reaching out to people and making sure that they're in the correct mental state, we'd have a lot less situations where people feel like they need to lash out in these kind of ways.
Yeah. And a lot of information is coming to light, or more and more people are talking about how mental health is the root of a lot of things. Fights breaking out, bullying happening, just being mean to each other, using substances. A lot of it is tied back to the mental health piece of it.
Yeah.
So I really like what you have to say. And even like the peer-to-peer component is if young people know that there are people in their school setting that support them and care for them, they may look at things from a different perspective or a different lens.
I think we should really be working to make everyone feel like they have a place to be, like they belong. Because ultimately, there are specific emotions that kickstart the chain of actions that cause these bad things to happen to communities. And if we were just paying a little bit more attention to that person in the corner, I think things might have turned out a little better.
Do you have any thoughts or ideas on how we could pay attention? Even you too, from a teacher's perspective, because school staff do see a lot of things. They overhear a lot of things.
Yes, we do. We do.
Yeah.
I think, to me, one of the biggest things is, like I said, listening to them. Listen to them all the time. I mean, they tell you all their drama when they're talking to each other.
More than you want to know sometimes.
Yes, sometimes. But when you're walking around, just moving about the classroom, listening to what they're saying about just different things, how they feel about what's going on in the world, how they feel about another situation that may be happening at another school. They tell you what they want. And a lot of times I think as adults, we go in and we want to fix it for them. And we want to make sure that they understand that things are this. We think that this is the way it should be. But the reality is we've never been through some of these horrific things that they're going through.
Yeah.
And so I think listening to them and listening to what they have to say is a big part of the, what's the word?
Change or evolution.
Change, or yes, like to keep it from happening. People just don't, you're like, oh, it's not a big deal. That person will be fine, or that person will be fine. You don't know what they're battling, and you don't know what's going on in their family life. And something you say might set them off. And that's scary. But it's also an opportunity for us to help. So I think that they do a lot of that in their different roles in their sports and their different roles as leaders in the community and in the school. They do a lot of talking and engaging their peers in different things.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the responsibility falls on people our age. I think when teenagers are hurting, a lot of the times they don't really want the help from an adult who they feel like doesn't understand what they're going through, or a guidance counselor. No hate. But it's up to us. Like, they want to see that their friends, the people their age, their peers around them, that they connect with them,
Yeah.
Like, it's our job to make people feel like they're not an outsider.
Or noticed.
Because it's a teacher's job to help the outside kids. But if we're reaching out and doing it, I think it really makes a difference.
Yeah, I think so too. How can adults go about trying to engage youth in these conversations, whether it be the emotional side of school safety and the physical side of school safety? Like you had mentioned the doors being something that you would want to change. And you talked about the emotional side of things, and you mentioned listening is really important. So for those who are listening to this conversation and they want to have these conversations with students in their own campus to learn about their thoughts and opinions on school safety, what's the best way for schools to involve students in these conversations?
I think you can have like little talks like during like periods with their like teachers and like students, saying what do we need to change, or like what should we change about like something in the school they need to change.
So maybe in homeroom or what do you all have homeroom, or what do you call your?
It's called advisory.
Advisory, yeah. Maybe taking an opportunity for the teachers to engage in a school safety conversation, and then taking notes, and then maybe passing that back to the principal or whoever the school safety committee might be. What else? What are some? That's great. What else could schools do?
I think one thing we're fixing to do is we're going to have a pop-up on vaping for the younger students. And I think doing stuff like that allows that for the fact that they look at them as, oh, she's a cheerleader. Oh, he's a baseball player. How great is that? And they come over, or we'll go to their campus and they look up to them.
The younger,
younger
yes,
kids.
yeah.
And then they'll look at them and say, well, she said that vaping was bad, or she said that, we should do this. And so they'll latch on to that really quick.
Yeah.
So I think their leadership roles that they take, if they can pass that down and they can take it down to the younger students, I think that would help as well.
Yeah.
So that it's a conversation that continues. It doesn't start and stop in elementary, but it's a continuous thing that works its way up, and we teach people how to communicate
Right.
all the way through their school years.
Which goes back to what you're saying, is it's the student's responsibility
Absolutely.
to break down those barriers between each other.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers have a job to teach, right? And to help you learn. And the administrators have the job to be administrators. But what's your job as the student? I mean, yes, to learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to also be there for each other and a sense of support. And I like being able to go down to the younger grades and visit those other schools and start instilling that early on.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it doesn't just stop and end in a certain grade. It lasts throughout your entire elementary, middle school, and high school career,
Right.
Are there, in talking with your friends, I know, because I know not all of your friends are in the same clubs and sports and things like that, right? You have a variety of friends. Do you ever talk about safety with your friends?
Yes.
What do you
but
talk
I
about?
think our situation is a little unique. And
Okay.
I don't think I would have talked about safety had what happened to our community not happen. Because of the unique circumstances that we're in. It is something that comes up because we've all lived through it, and we all want to be able to talk about these things and help each other. But even for schools that have not experienced what we have, I think it should be more talked about for sure.
Is it okay if I ask what y'all talk about?
My friends are my safety net. I love them to death. But most of our talks just consist of how we're feeling, what we can do for each other, those sort of things. I mean, there are always things we wish could have gone differently, but right now there's not much that can be done other than help each other heal.
What do we do now?
Yeah.
Me and my friends don't really talk about it.
They're guys.
They're guys.
Yeah.
That's all right, right?
But
Everybody's different.
his friend group, the majority of his friend group, Joseph's friend group, are in classes with me. And when we do bring up the topic, sometimes you got to just push them a little bit. So when we bring up the topic, they have a lot to say. They have a lot to say about the physical safety. And then they have a lot to say about just kindness. It's not something that I think that they hang out and they say, oh, we should be, you weren't nice today and we need to do this. It's not like that, but they do have strong opinions of
Yes,
what
for
they
sure.
expect. Those are great spaces where students may not speak to their parents about everything. Peer to peer again, it's a lot for them. They rely on each other a lot.
Yeah.
What are some of the conversations that you have in your class?
So we talk about just basic safety. Should we barricade the doors? How the door opens out? How do we barricade the door? How do you, stop the bleed? How do you stop a bleeding wound? What kind of wound? We just, anything and everything. We start the class every day with CJ News. Every day we start with criminal justice news from around the world. What's going on in the world? And then we discuss how they feel about that. What does that make you think? I'll probe them and ask them, what should we charge this person with? What do you think? How much time do you think that they're going to serve? Just criminal justice stuff. But they then take on a whole new approach to it. In this day and time, miss a lot of stuff virtually. To me, virtual is an imaginary world. To them, it's reality. And they'll talk about things. I'm like, no, that doesn't happen. Miss, yes, it does. Yes, it does. And the technology, you know, AI was a conversation in our classroom for years before it became AI, right?
Yeah.
And so they were just, Miss, but you have to embrace it. You have to embrace it because this is a new.
I'm not going to stop using it.
Yes, this is how we're using it like this, or we're not using it like that. And, you know, just you can learn from them so much. And they've got some very unique ideas in how to solve some of the world's problems. And some days I just go to school. I tell everybody, I said, I have a blessed job. I go to school and I listen to the kids, and I think I listen to the future problem solvers.
Yeah, in your room. Yeah.
Yes, in my room. And, you know, I always say the future, you know, the cure to cancer isn't sitting in my classroom.
In your own room, yes.
And
The
they just need to
president or
know how to
something.
figure out
Yeah.
the channel to get to it. And I think those real life experiences,
Yeah.
you might hear about a tragedy like ours, and you might say, it's never going to happen to us because we do A, B, and C. That's not necessarily true.
Right.
And that's hard to hear.
Yeah.
But I think that you can sit there and think, well, it's not going to happen to us, so we don't have to talk about it. They have that platform now that they can talk about their own experiences, unfortunately.
I think it's important for the subject to not be taboo.
Yes.
You know, if it's unfortunate for what Uvalde went through in order to have the conversations and still have them, and will forever have them. And I hear what you're saying is you shouldn't wait for tragedy to strike before you have these conversations. We should be having these conversations all the time. And I think that's another great way that you can engage students in school safety, just like what you're saying. Take the time in a specific classroom or maybe a specific subject, you know, whether it's whatever elective it might be, to have those conversations and just talk through, to think about things, and to, I think, gauge yourself as young people. You have so much going on in your life. Sometimes it can be difficult to think about these external situations and external threats, I guess you could call them that, because you have so much going on. And I think that if we are all having those conversations, then everyone almost has an ear and an eye open. And we're all aware, and that, I think, collectively works together to protect my back and your back and your back and your back.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
When you have conversations, and you were talking about Stop the Bleed and all of those things, do y'all talk about roles that the students might take if the school does go through a lockdown? Would there be one student who would be responsible for A and another for B? Or and if you don't, what kind of roles could students take during those safety situations?
Yeah, I mean, now that we've been developing our Coyote Kit, we walk through emergency situations all the time. We think, what could we use if this happens? What could we do when these things happen? And that might be just specific to our class, but we spend a lot of time.
What is a lot of time? For those listening, is that once a week or every other week? I recognize being in the criminal justice class, it's very unique, and you're probably talking about that a lot. But how much time do you think should be spent on discussing these things? Even if it's for 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for sure more, since we're a criminal justice class for us. But I think every class should do the same. I think they should walk through anything that might happen, any possible emergencies. I think it's important to be prepared, for sure. And how much time do we spend on that?
Oh, we spent hours when we were developing the kit. Probably at least 2 to 3 times a week, we would have a discussion about what needed to be in there, or I researched this type of tourniquet versus this type of tourniquet. Yeah. So we talked about it for hours and hours and hours. And what I was going to say about conversations, and we talk about it maybe more in my criminal justice class. In my criminal justice class, we prepare, for Stop the Bleed, or we prepare to barricade the doors. But the reality is they're not going to be sitting in my classroom when it happens.
You could be at Walmart.
Right. And I test them all the time. Like, where do you? Pep rallies. Pep rallies are
Oh, yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you've got to, I play these games with them all the time. And I'm like, in a pep rally, you need to find me 3 times. And sometimes I'll change my jacket out, or I'll put a sweater on, or I'll walk around, and they have to pinpoint where I'm at. And are they paying attention to what's happening and what's going on around them? And so it makes them more aware. But my reality is they're not going to be sitting in my classroom when a lockdown happens, but are they going to be sitting in somebody else's classroom? The knowledge that they learned with me, can they pass it on to the other 1,200 students that we have in our high school? And the day of the tragedy, that's what happened. I was not on campus, but what my students learned in our classroom, they used it for other classrooms. They barricaded the doors in other classrooms. They were with a substitute teacher. They told the substitute teacher, we're supposed to do this. And so while we can't do everything ourselves, my mentality is if I just help a handful of them, they're going to go out and protect the rest of them.
I agree. And I think that's an excellent place to start. Well, let's get into the Coyote Kits. Let's talk about it. We've been saying, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Well, it's time to get to it. So if you wouldn't mind sharing about how the idea of the Coyote Kit came to be, and kind of just a little bit about the process. It's been a few years in the making. Am I correct?
Yes, we're in year 3.
Yes. Year 3, yes. So yes, tell us about the Coyote Kit.
So the Coyote Kit, we were fortunate enough to come to the preparedness camp with the School Safety Center. And we were tasked to bring a project with us. We had talked about school safety with our law enforcement and just in general before anything happened. And a kit was always something that we had talked about. In that kit, we kind of envisioned, like Joseph was saying, is there a latch that we can put on the door for the substitutes to be able to put on the doors? They don't necessarily have the keys. Just different things that we were going to use for the Coyote Kits. And so when we came to the preparedness camp, we learned that it was important to be prepared for anything. By the time we came here, the tragedy had already happened. And so we just used that. And that year, I heard where kids did not feel safe in the classroom. Should we go back to school? Should we not? Should we stay home? And one of the things that we learned I learned was, what do they want to feel safe? I can't be a teacher if I don't have any students in front of me. So what do I need to have so that I can get students in the classroom and that they can feel safe? And everybody in the classroom, just like we usually do, is just kind of have discussions and conversations. The Coyote Kit came about, and we decided that's what we were going to bring. When we were sitting in our night sessions at the preparedness camp, we talked about the name. And Joseph was kindly sitting in the corner.
But I was the only guy, so like, I was
he was the only male.
Minding my business, and they're like, "What about a name?" And I was like, "Youth of Uvalde." I was just like, "You." I just don't know. I just thought of it. Like, it was just a split second thought.
And he jumped out of his seat and he was yelling. He's like, "Look, the acronym is you. It's perfect." And so we kind of just latched on to that. And then the students that we brought during that time, they were also very strong-minded and very vocal, and they wanted to get back their security. They wanted to find something that was going to make them safe. And so the Coyote Kit came about, and we've just put in there different things that people needed the day of the lockdown.
Yeah. So
practical things that they needed.
Throughout the years, we've just been like compiling stories pretty much and experiences that we went through and what we thought we might need.
So you developed a lockdown bucket, which you call Coyote Kits, because Coyote is the mascot.
It's our mascot.
And what is in the bucket?
So in the bucket, you can explain, because y'all...
in the bucket, there's a bunch of different things, not just for a lockdown, just for like any situations. Like, it could be like a tornado. It could be the
natural disaster.
Just in general, like there's There's a blanket in there, a safety blanket. There's snacks, water, stress balls. There's chargers. There's batteries. There's a flashlight. What else?
We have tourniquets. We have a power tool, break windows. You never know. We do have toilet paper because, I mean, unfortunately, we were locked down for about 7 hours. And
So the bucket turns into the toilet.
Yes, ma'am. What else? We have multiple first aid kits, everything needed for stop the bleed, gauze, wrap.
We have fidgets
Yes.
for students. 7 hours is
what
a
I'm doing right now.
long time.
Yeah.
And just something to have in your hand. Just
There's a lot of nervous
Stress.
energy going through the body during that time.
Yes,
Not really knowing what's
yes.
going on. Yeah.
And even now, after the fact that we've been through that, you know, a lot of students have this panic triggered in them whenever we're in any sort of situation, no matter how serious. And it's helpful to have that now.
Yeah.
You know?
So you said that just by collecting stories and talking to your peers, and did you also talk to teachers?
We did. We talked to teachers. We talked to people just in the community.
Like parents?
Parents
Okay.
couldn't get a hold of their kids because the phone died and they didn't have that particular charger. And so we talked to parents, we talked to teachers, we talked to students. We took our own experiences and what we saw, what we experienced during that lockdown. And we just compiled a bunch of stuff. And over the course of probably a month, we looked at things and said, well, we could do this instead of this. We could use this instead of that. We didn't want to go cheap, but we wanted to be efficient in what we put inside the bucket. Normally, I think the bucket weighs about maybe 5 pounds, right?
Yeah, about
Just with everything
With all
that you
the
put
things
in
in
it.
there.
everything in it. Yeah.
When it's fully stocked. And now our bucket, we've been testing it and we take things out. And I mean, it's as simple as somebody saying, we need a flashlight. Do you have a flashlight? Yes, we have a flashlight in there.
So other classes, other teachers in the school know you have a Coyote, you have this bucket. And if they ever need some type of resource, they come to your classroom to ask for it.
Yes.
So, okay. And then did you guys look at anything from FEMA or any of those national sites to see what recommendations they might have? Because I know you said you came to youth preparedness camp and that is a lot of FEMA-oriented content. Did you get any ideas from that?
Yes, we actually have a tool from the utility tool, the alloy tool. We have it in there. That was something, one of our students, her experience was that she was in the restroom and they had to pull the door closed themselves physically. And so she said, had I had a tool of some sort, maybe to pull and then
Lock
jam it
So
somewhere.
she had to hold it closed the entire time she was in there.
And
Wow.
she, where they were pulling and then they were pushing up against something else, she got bruises all down her back from
my
that day.
goodness.
Just different things. One of the teachers said that a student of hers had to use the restroom. And the young man they couldn't go out of the classroom. And so she used a trash can. And she put a trash can for the students to use, for the student to use. And so just little things. And like Summer says, they were all stories from somebody that somebody needed something. It was 11:30 when this all started. They had not gone to lunch yet. They had not had lunch. They didn't release them till about 5:30 or 6 in the evening.
So you were in the room that you were in that entire time.
Yes.
Without being able to use the restroom, get a drink of water, eat a cracker.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Right.
And if your phone died, you could not communicate. You didn't have any external communication. So you were just sitting there to think about probably the worst things ever.
And your parents are in the dark too. They have no way of knowing if you're safe.
Wow.
So that day has shaped a lot of our thought processes.
I think how you view the world.
Yes, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, That's accurate.
So have you spent this entire year interacting with the bucket, or you've spent 2 years interacting with it? Because you say that you do utilize it in the classroom to figure out what's working, what's not working.
Mm-hmm. So we developed the bucket and the contents of the bucket, and that took about 2 years, presenting it to our administration, understanding the bucket too, how we were going to use it.
Purpose, functionality,
the
storage.
purpose, and where were we going to keep it. One of the things that one of the students brought up at one point was that bucket could be viewed as scary. You know, it's in case of an emergency. That bucket is, you know, if you bleed, there's stuff in there for that. It could be looked at as something very scary that sits in the corner of a classroom. But that's why we attached our coyote, because everybody loves our coyote. So that's why we attached Wiley to it, so that
I see what you're saying. So the younger students, they know that kit's for serious situations. And so that's a scary kit, because if that happens, that's a scary situation. So how do you not make it scary?
Right. And we put our Wiley on it.
Yeah. And I know that when we were meeting earlier and having lunch, you were talking about how there's been conversations about the color of the bucket. Do we put stickers on it? So share a little bit more about all of that.
So we thought about painting the bucket. Like
We're asking art.
Yeah. We were going to utilize other clubs. Like the art club, could they paint the buckets for us?
Oh, that's a neat idea.
Could we, you know, we were discussing on our way up here was maybe every year we put like a sleeve around it, a paper sleeve around it. And we give each student a sticker, and they color the sticker. They put the sticker on that paper sleeve, and that becomes their bucket for the year, and they embrace that bucket. We've talked about different things, from the bucket being a pop-up top and being a screw top. We tested the bucket the first time, and I couldn't open it.
Is that because of your nails?
And I had to no, it was so hard to pull up on the bucket. And so I had to tell the boys, I'm like, open the bucket. And I also shared that at one point we had candy in there. You know, candy lasts a long time. So we had some hard candy in there. Well, when I passed the candy out, it made a lot of rustling noise. And so I was like, oh my gosh, we can't have that noise coming out of a classroom.
Right.
So we've changed that, and what kind of snacks. And, you know, the kids have loved to test out the snacks. That has been the fun. That's been the thing, especially for the boys. Every day they'd come in. We got to test the snacks today, Miss Barbosa.
No.
But,
and so for those who are listening, this is just a standard painter's bucket, like one you would find at Lowe's or Home Depot.
Yes.
And it's white, and you have Coyote Kit in black lettering with paw prints.
Yes.
Very cute, with your coyote mascot. Wiley
Sitting
the
on
coyote.
top.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sitting on top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Originally, I wanted the head of the coyote just on top of
Miss
it.
Barbosa, that's so scary.
It looked scary.
The younger kids or
Whoa.
everyone?
Oh,
Oh, you.
no, they were
Yeah.
scared. They were scared.
Like, no, that's not going to work.
I thought it would be cool just to have the head of the coyote and it would pop up.
Yeah, she has a couple Wileys in her classroom, and so she pulled a really big one out, and she stuck it behind. She's like, "How about this?"
No.
And that right away was like, no, we need to get a different one.
Yes.
So we've envisioned all different things, and we've had fun. We've had fun trying to figure out what we need in there, and it's been a long process. 3 years. 3 years so far.
Because the goal is for every classroom in every school, a part of Uvalde ISD,
Yes.
to have a bucket, a kit.
Yeah.
So off the top of your head, do you know how many that is?
I think we're looking at about 200.
Is that every
teachers?
Okay, because I was going to say, would there be one in the library, one in PE, one in the cafeteria, those public places where students congregate? Would there be one available for there, or have you guys thought about, is that like phase 2 when this is all said and done?
Yes.
And I'm asking a lot. It's just
No, yeah, we've talked about the fact that we do want everyone to have one in the school, the nurse's office, obviously. You know, I mean, I know the nurse has most of these things in there, but the principal's office,
The locker rooms.
The locker rooms.
The rest, maybe some of the rest, maybe all the rest. Honestly, all the restrooms should have them.
Or some type of kit, maybe not that
Yeah.
particular one, but a condensed version of it. Maybe something that has a tool, like you were saying, a tourniquet or a first aid material, something like that. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Drill. We do drills every month, and so during those drills, we make sure that the first thing that we try to figure out what's needed in the bucket.
Depending on what the drill
depending
is.
on what the drill is
Okay.
and what can we use. So I'm on a committee, and I know maybe a day or two before the drill is going to happen. And so, like, for instance, in a tornado drill, I can prep my students and say, what could happen in a tornado drill? What, the ceiling could fall, the desk could fall, somebody gets cut. And okay, what do we need from the Coyote Kit to be able to deal with that situation that's happening, whatever emergency it happens to be? Somebody cuts themselves or somebody gets bumped on the head. What can we use out of the Coyote Kit so that we can practice with it?
Get used to it and practice it. Especially right now during this phase, because you're still testing it out. But also I think that once the kit becomes established resource in each classroom, maybe not I don't know if classrooms need to go through drills. It might be unique to the subject that you teach, and that's the interest of the students. But I think it is important to interact with the kit, don't you think? To make sure that students, especially younger students, feel safe with it in their room, and they feel empowered to go into the kit and utilize it should that time, hopefully it never has to happen, happen. Well, let's go ahead and open up the kit. Joseph, if you wouldn't mind helping out. And then just kind of, if you can be descriptive of what's in it, that way those who are listening have a good sense. So like on the opposite side, Summer, on the opposite side of the lid, could you just explain what is on the opposite side of the lid?
Okay, absolutely. So y'all can't see this, but I have a taped list, and it's titled Bucket Items. There are 18 total items in our bucket. Should I go through and list them? Yeah? Okay. So obviously, first one is our bucket. We had a story come back to us about a student who was obviously stuck in their room for upwards of 7 hours, and we weren't allowed in or out anywhere. So,
you have to go to the bathroom.
You have to go to the bathroom. It happens. So she ultimately ended up having to use her trash can, which unfortunate, and we don't want anyone to ever have to do that. So bucket doubles as a bathroom in case of emergencies always. And then we have our index card that we're going to include later on, but it's more personalized to the classrooms. It'll have student information for each teacher. And then the third thing we have is just a traditional first aid kit, always necessary, should have in your classroom anyway. And then we have
Band-Aids.
Yeah,
Band-Aid,
Band-Aids.
Your typical stuff you'd buy at maybe
Yes.
like HEB or something.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we have gauze sponges, which we used in our stop the bleed procedures. Obviously, because we have a criminal justice class, we've talked about it, but it's in there just in case of any bleeds. If Joseph can find it, he'll show you. And then we have a tourniquet. So there are instructions on this list on how to apply a tourniquet. Most teachers should know, but just in case of the fact that there isn't a teacher in the room or no adult in the room, it's easy to use, easy to access. Just read the instructions and follow
I
along.
went to a training in the summer for CTE teachers, and one of the trainings had us, talking about tourniquets and how to place a tourniquet. We had one tourniquet, and then it was suggested that we have 2 tourniquets. So that's why there's now a second tourniquet inside the bucket.
And not all teachers are trained on how to use tourniquets.
No.
So you're recommending that when the kits become available, that teachers do receive training on how to use
Absolutely.
them.
I think
that's just for daily life.
Standard, right? It's like
think
CPR
so.
first aid almost.
And yes. And where do you place the tourniquet? You know,
Yeah.
some people don't know where to place the tourniquets.
Well, some
and
people have never
I didn't
seen it.
know that before either, but
Yeah.
it's interesting it's an interesting, and it doesn't take very long. It doesn't take
it's
very long,
not a
very
hard
long.
process on how to learn. Like, teachers don't have to go out and do their own research. They could even just read our paper that we've attached to the lid, as long as someone knows. And then we have CBR one-way masks,
Okay.
and we have just also regular
Face masks.
face masks just in case of, hazardous smokes, fires, gases in the air. The next thing we have is we have a portable charger and also cords. Your phone can die in 7 hours. A lot of the times it did, and we want everyone to be able to communicate with their parents. That
Cord's right here.
that is such a scary time, and not having contact between your parents, you don't want to make a mom go through that, or a dad.
The other thing with the cords, the cords are multi. They're not just for one type
We have
of
a
phone.
variety in there.
Yes,
we
yes.
have
Because phones these
one
days.
for every phone.
Yeah.
And then our next one is the alloy emergency tool. Multiple purposes, really. Barricading doors, breaking windows, just whatever situation arises.
Turning off the
water,
gas,
and the gas and water.
So that looks heavy, but I actually had the opportunity to pick it up. It's not.
No, at all.
It's a
very
lot
light.
lighter than it looks.
When we presented to our safety team, they were so amazed at this tool, and they thought, we all need one of these. I said, that's why we're going to give you the
Clearly.
Yeah. But if we're talking about empowering middle schools, I'm sorry. Well, yes, some middle school students are, small. But if we're talking about empowering elementary students to engage with the bucket, it's important that we're including all types of resources in there that elementary students can feel comfortable using, and to know that that's light enough that they,
yes.
like, especially a fifth grader,
Yes.
could pick up and use. I think that's a good thing to remember.
Yeah, I don't think it's even a pound. It's like
It's
super
light. It's a lot
Yeah.
lighter than you think it is. What else is in there?
All right, our next things are we have 2 Mylar blankets, which are super thin but very, very warm. So they, are they in there? If Joseph can find them.
They're in there. They're in one of the packages.
Anyways, they're super thin, really easy to fold up, but just, in case of
they're-
power
they're right here.
outages, it gets cold.
They're in here. They're just kind of hidden. Yeah.
Very useful. And then we have our favorite, we have fidgets, because situations like this, stress is high. It's hard to just sit still and be quiet for that long. A lot of kids reported that they really wanted something to do with their hands. You can't really play games on your phone in a lockdown. So this is a nice alternative.
One of our students that helped start this whole thing, she said, she's like, I didn't have anybody that was being directly affected at the time or anything like that. She said, but I just remember that I needed something in my hand. I remember that I needed to feel something in my hand, and I didn't know what to do with my hands, and I was so nervous. So her suggestion was that we put a fidget toy in there. Now, some fidget toys make a lot of noise, and so we've gone in. We've tried. That was another favorite thing, is let me play with the fidget toys and figure out which one works best. And different kids wanted different things. There's so many different varieties out there, and just anything can be a fidget toy.
Well, Joseph, do you mind pulling that bag back out and telling us what's in the bag?
Or with the.
What each item is in the bag? What if you could just describe what it is?
Well, this is just like a normal squishy toy.
Squishy toys.
This she got it from Dollar Tree, and she I don't know what it is, but it's like just to move back and forth to
Sequins.
It's a sequence.
just to feel something. This has
It's
something
a
to feel.
texture.
Yeah,
It's
those
a texture.
pillows where if you push the sequins one way, it's one color. You
Oh,
push
yeah.
it
Yes.
the other way, it's another color.
This
Yeah.
is like a twisty fidget. Just kind of just twist it back and forth. It just
And that comes apart, so the students
yeah,
like to
you
take it
can break it.
comes
apart.
apart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can.
I ain't gonna do that.
So
break.
that
There
just
you go.
falls apart. You put it back together. You take it apart, put it on, take it off.
They've got stress balls in there.
Yes.
This is probably my favorite one because you could put it try to put it in different shapes.
Yeah. Like a Rubik's Cube might be a good idea.
Yeah.
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 That one makes a lot of noise, though.
It's squeaky.
Yes, and so we've
And then
talked
just
about that.
another normal squishy toy. But
I think the squishies are my favorite.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you for going through that.
All right. The next thing we have is we have our duct tape. Again, Ms. Barbosa mentioned this earlier. In case of a spill, anything in the air, good to tape up the door frames, prevent airflow back and forth, keep your room relatively clean.
duct tape's good for anything.
Duct tape is duct tape.
True, if you run out of a Band-Aid or,
It's
could
good
use
for
it,
our
yeah.
stop the bleed,
Yeah.
wrap the gauze double time. Yeah. All right. And then
We have to replace the duct tape all the time because we use it for everything.
Oh, I explained the two different kinds of masks earlier, but here's the second thing of masks. Okay, we have trash bags. Trash bags.
They're right here.
For anything, even to work inside the bucket as
the toilet.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have batteries.
The batteries are with it.
Batteries are for our flashlight, which comes next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Batteries, flashlight.
Funny story that I was like, oh, we need batteries for like a radio. And they're like, a radio?
What is that?
Yeah, they didn't understand
No,
that.
Jason was on board.
Yeah, one student was on
Yeah,
board
Jason
out of
liked
all
your
of
radio
them.
idea.
But everybody else, and it wasn't we weren't talking about necessarily a lockdown situation, but more like in a tornado drill and stuff like that.
Outside
A radio.
communication.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
But no, they don't know radios.
All right, and then we have some toilet paper in there. It's been buried under everything. It might not look so pretty anymore. So toilet paper, 2 rolls, a bag full of snacks, and waters. Because
So we've had
these.
some of the reason for the snacks. There were some students that were getting sick. There were some students that were diabetic
Oh, yes.
and nothing to give them to eat.
Yes.
The teachers didn't have anything offhand. They were looking. They was just searching for things that, whatever they had in their desk, and so that's when we started all this. It was about 11:30, and they hadn't gone to eat yet, so they were
My goodness.
famished by the end of it. And so that the waters. And so many times I've pulled a water out of there and given it to a student, said, hey, drink a little bit of water. But that all comes from that actual day that they needed to eat something.
Yeah.
I think emotions maybe were even higher because they hadn't eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is just a prototype. I mean, we're always growing, open to new things.
Was that a bag of wipes?
Yes.
Yes.
it was.
Okay, why-
And,
okay.
it wasn't on the list.
When we've practiced different things, the wipes came up. She was mentioning the toilet paper. It has gotten ugly inside there. It's gotten ugly inside there. We thought, well, why not wipes? We need wipes too.
Well, wipes are good too if you think about like hand sanitizer or even just trying to clean an area.
Yes.
Or if you use the bucket to go to the bathroom, you might want to have a wipe to wipe your hands or something like that as well. So no, I think that's great. Anything off the top of your head that also needs to be added? You mentioned adding pencil and paper for teachers. Anything else that you haven't had the chance to add to the kit yet?
Maybe we should add a radio.
We should have already.
Now you're sold.
We the CPR mask. When we went to CPR training, that was something. It's not as expensive as you can imagine, but if we have that in there, that might be something that we will need to add to it. But just, I think most of it has been received well, or we've used it and it's been it works for us. But there might be something that somebody might suggest, something that that we haven't thought about.
You know what I think we should put? It's pads and tampons.
Sanitary items for girls. That's actually a great idea.
We talked about that because even I think in Stop the Bleed they say that's
you can
some
use
of the stuff
that.
that we can use.
Yes. Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that till now,
Yeah.
but might be helpful.
Yes. So that's, I think it's always evolving. I don't know that we're ever going to have it 100%.
Probably. I think it's one of those things that as you interact, you think more and more what we needed. And then you don't know until you're in a situation. But like you said, it's not always an active shooter situation. We have natural disasters happen all the time, or there is an external threat and the school has to shut down, and because you're in the area and you don't know how long that's going to happen.
You know, I think our Coyote Kit is a good starting point. Like, it's a good baseline. And obviously every classroom is different. So there's nothing stopping those teachers from customizing their bucket to be specifically what their class needs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we advertise our bucket as this specific list of items, but if there's something that they notice that maybe their 4 and 5-year-olds need specifically, they can always add that.
True.
I mean, they know
you're
them
in
better
a high
than we
school
do.
setting. Yeah, you're in a high school settings. What you might need for the littles might be very different, you know?
Yes.
That's very true. And so your Coyote Kit is roughly $170, around $170, $180.
Yeah. $180.
And the items that you did purchase, that came from where? What, Dollar General? Or because I know you mentioned you want to be cost effective with the kits. So where were you able to find a lot of these items?
So some of the items, they came from Walmart, H-E-B. They came from, I ordered on Amazon. I didn't want just a typical tourniquet. You know, I wanted a good standard tourniquet. Yes. And the same thing with the CPR mask. It needs to come from the American Heart Association. So just everywhere that we could. I mean, we did a lot of research on Amazon during that time in what was good, what was not. There was things that, I mean, we could significantly reduce the cost of the bucket, but we wouldn't have quality. And so that was important to us, is to have that quality. But just different places around, teachers, you know, have just different things in their classroom and thought, well, this could work for this and this could work for that.
Especially those fidget toys.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we always have stuff laying around for the fidget toys, for sure.
And I'm a baggy person, so I was putting everything in baggies and organizing it, and then they can't find stuff in baggies, and so we've talked about organizing it. And I mean, there's just labeling the baggie and what it has in it. But just anywhere from anyone that was willing to say. I know another thing that we talked about: if there's a spill of some sort, the air conditioner's going to go off.
Yeah, it's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot. So we've talked about fans.
Yeah, that you can just, squeeze and they'll work for you. They don't run on battery. That's a great idea too.
And maybe not. One thing that we've come up with too was we were thinking we were going to put 30 water bottles in there, which it'll fit. But do we need 30? Can we just have 15? Can we just have 10 and
you have to share.
2 people share? I mean, you're in an emergency situation. You're not.
Yeah.
And it's not a buffet.
Yes. It's not a buffet. But also, you have to also think about the storage of it and being able to lift it. Like you said, I think you told me earlier, it's actually a lot heavier once everything was in there. It was heavier. And you said you broke your arm at one point in the year. And so you had to get help to pick it up. Yeah. There's all kinds of things that you have to think about, is where would I put this and how much will go in it, and it's the essentials. Right. So you need a little bit of water. You need a little bit of food. You need a little bit of sanitary stuff to use the restroom, do whatever you need to do. And I think the fidget stuff is like key. I think that's important. I think it's a fantastic addition to the kit, because if you're in a room, whether you are locked down for an hour or 7 hours, you don't know.
Right.
I'm assuming. I do not know. You know. But I would not know how long an hour feels, especially if my phone died. Could feel like forever. And if I had something in that kit to try and keep my attention, might help me a little bit, breathe a little bit, So it's such a fantastic resource. I love this so much. And your club has paid for this, or have you all donated some of your own funds to purchase items?
So in the beginning, it was just buy this and buy that out of just my personal. Some students have donated stuff for it, and we've put it in there. Miss Barbosa, look, I bought this, and they've donated stuff for it. So it's basic, like it's our test kit, and so. We've just kind of put it together and what we needed. But, it does take time to think about what we need and What can we put in there? I mean, we wanted to put all sorts of things. Safety vest. We wanted to put safety vests. If you're escorting kids out, if a student has a safety vest, then, then they're safe. But I don't know how we would add all that. Now, do we add 30? A standard classroom has 30 students. Do we add 30 of everything to make sure? We can't do that. Like, it's not a practical thing for us to do.
And I don't know if a teacher's classroom could store all of that on top of the other things that the teacher would have. Yeah.
And I think also if the bucket's there and if a teacher wants to add something to it, there is a little bit of room in there so that they can add stuff. They might do that. And I know for me, if I didn't have one centralized place, everything would be everywhere. Okay, where are my Band-Aids? Oh, they're here. Where are the gauze? Oh, they're here. And where are the fidgets? Oh, they're in another box. In having one centralized area to have everything in seems to work for everybody. So, just having the bucket.
And your whole school knows about this, yes?
Yeah.
A lot of them,
Most everybody.
So what's been the feedback from teachers and students? And your principal? I know that you say you've got a big presentation coming up to your school board, but for those in your campus, what's been the response to this?
They think it's a great idea. I mean, everyone's just excited to see that someone's doing something, Even if it's something as small as just being a little bit more prepared in the classroom, they're excited to see that we're making a small difference.
Yeah, I think the administrators think we're just taking a big leadership role right now to show that we want to do this. Cool. Yeah.
They think you're so cool. We all are cool. What about from the teachers' perspective?
I think the teachers are, okay, it's good. But I've been talking about it for 3 years now. And so they're like, okay, when?
When are we going to get it?
Yeah. When's it time?
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah. And when's it time? We've won all sorts of stuff because of the bucket. And they're like, but you still haven't put it in the classrooms. And I'm like, yes, we're coming. We're coming. But I think they feel empowered as well because they did have feedback. They did have a little bit of feedback in what went in it. We didn't talk to every single teacher in the district.
Sure.
We spoke to high school teachers, junior high teachers. We spoke to high school students. And so there may be something in there that we may have forgotten to put in there. And we just want them to know that it's still, they can add whatever they want to it. Yeah. They can make it their own. Yeah. Some teachers might want to decorate it themselves. Some teachers are very artsy and very, colorful. And then some teachers are very black and white.
That would be great.
This is perfect for them. Yeah. No more, no less.
Yeah.
They might not even want the coyote on it, So we're just, I think we're blessed that we are in a school district that wants and is willing to take something in to make things better.
Yeah.
And everybody's on board with that.
So where are we at in the journey of the Coyote Kit? We're currently fundraising. I say we, but y'all are currently fundraising, right?
Yeah.
How is that going?
So there's some stuff that we need to organize before we bring any money in. And so we've looked at grants, we've looked at donations, and then we've looked at selling the buckets. Maybe someone wants to buy the bucket for their child's classroom. Someone buys the bucket to go into another classroom. Or we've even talked about a 2-for-1. You buy a bucket and another bucket is donated to a classroom. You buy it for yourself, for your home, for your business, and then you donate one. So there's a lot of ideas out there. There's a couple of things that we need to get in order before we can start bringing any money in. But our goal after the new year is to start that. So hopefully by the summer, we will be able to start fundraising some of that money and bringing some some profit so that we can get these started.
And what is the upcoming presentation with the school board about? Or when is that? I say upcoming, but I actually
we haven't
Okay.
set a date or anything like that. We just know that's our next step.
Next steps. Gotcha. So then what's the goal of that presentation?
Pitch the bucket, get their support. Hopefully, we're just teenagers. We need that adult guidance. Hopefully, they'll help us along the way, make the next right steps. When we presented it to the superintendent and the principals, we have a slideshow that we go through every time we show it to someone new. We might use that again. We might make a new one. We'll just have to see.
And I think because it's theirs, I think it's important for them not just to be given from the school district. Here, okay, the school district's going to put this bucket together and then they're going to send it out to all the classrooms. I think it's important for them to vest their time and effort and everything into fundraising the money for the bucket. Does that make sense?
It
I don't know.
does,
I don't know
yeah.
if that makes sense, but I think it's theirs.
Yeah.
And it's theirs to put into the classrooms. And so I think that's one of the things that we're looking at. We're not going to the school board to say, give us the money for this bucket. That's not what we're doing at
Or
all.
like support our initiative.
Just support it.
You guys, even you, should be incredibly proud of what you have been able to do and how you have been able to embody what the word resiliency means and hope. And when we learned about what y'all were doing, I just instantly, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It is heartbreaking how it came to be, but you are using the past few years as a tribute to those we lost, right? To those you lost. So just like the elementary school and that beautiful art installation is a tribute to them, what you're doing right now is a tribute to them. And also, if you think about it this way too, when you go on and you do amazing things in the next few years, the concept of leaving your legacy behind is that you have now put a system, a resource in place that is going to hopefully ensure the safety of future generations that have yet to be born.
Yes.
That's an amazing feeling. That's an amazing thing. So even though the kit might not be 100% finished to what you were hoping it to be finished by the time you graduated, you can appreciate the amount of work and investment that you put into it, which I think goes back to what you're saying is you want them to understand the fundraising process.
Yes.
And to really fight for this to be in the school. And so I think that you should be very proud. And I know you are. I mean, I'm sure you are, and I know you are, kind of a thing. But to not, I think, don't beat yourself up, so to say, that the kit wasn't 100% done, and it's not in every school before you graduated high school, because the progress that you've made so far has been paramount. It's been tremendous. You have overcome so many hurdles and so many setbacks and so many people telling you, I don't know about that. That might not be, I don't know, I'm not sure. But you've shown up and you've been consistent and you've put so much time and energy and effort and tears and laughter and smiles and happiness and hugs into this resource for your school, for your community. And I feel so honored to be able to be here in your presence.
Oh,
in all honesty, I really do.
Thank you.
What you're doing is amazing. And I really hope that you truly feel that when you graduate in a short amount of time and you move on to wherever you go, that you're leaving your community a little bit better than it was before.
I hope so. I hope they take that with them, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I know we've talked a lot all day long, and I think I kind of know what next steps are for the U student group, but people listening might not. I know that the kit is the main focus, but is there anything else that the Youth of Uvalde might be working on, or is this going to be it for the next few years?
Well, definitely the bucket's our main focus, but we're always looking for different opportunities. We just came to the Say What conference this summer, and we had a blast during that time, and we learned a lot during that time. So we're taking that back to our community as well. Presentations to our younger students. Definitely the U is working on that. We also just want maybe to, like we've talked about, fingerprinting all our kids in our district. And they go through a fingerprinting process, learning about fingerprints, how to take someone's fingerprints. And maybe we want to add that as something else, in a community-wide initiative where maybe we fingerprint all the kids and we have this little mug shot thing in the background, where the kids can just it'll be something fun, but serious enough that God forbid you would need to pull the fingerprints out for any particular reason. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now. How else we can get involved in the community. There's so many groups out there. So many of our groups in our high school and our clubs in our high school are doing different things around the community. And so we just want to help out. We just want to help out and do our share and do our part. Because I always tell them, I'm like, y'all are like the first responders.
Yeah.
You're first responders in training. And I want to make sure.
Lifesavers in training.
Yes,
sure.
yes. And I want them to know that. And, that, what else can we do for our community?
Yeah.
How else can we help in any little way possible?
Yeah.
So we're excited to do that. And we're, our main focus obviously is the bucket. But we want to get out there more into our community and make sure that they understand that we're here and that we're here to make things a little bit better and a little bit easier.
I want to thank y'all so much for taking the time to come to San Marcos.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you.
You are very welcome. I know this is not going to be the last time we talk. We are going to continue to follow up and learn more. Where are you at with the Coyote Kit? Because we would love to be able to share this resource with everyone in the state and to let everyone else in the state know what you've developed and how you've found it helpful. Because I know there's going to be schools and districts that are going to want to implement this same exact resource that you're doing.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, I know so. I know so. There's no hope about it. I know it. So, and that's another thing too. Even though this kit is 100% complete, in the years to come, you're going to have made a statewide impact. I mean, you being here today for this conversation, it will cause ripple effects and you will have been able to serve the greater community at state and not just Uvalde. So,
that sounds really great. That sounds really great.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys again for coming. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
This has been fun.
Well, good.